Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Vietnam. Oh, man. What a day, what a day, what a day it's going to be. Now, my understanding is that it is going to rain today. Now, I don't know what time it's supposed to rain or any of that, but go figure. It's going to rain here again. There's a shock. Who's surprised? Not me. So, it is what it is. Whatever. Not the end of the world. So what I'm gonna do is I gotta put the excuse me, I gotta put the painting project on a brief pause so I can go look at another job with a shutter that is hanging off of the guy's house. Let's see. So I'm just leaving the gas station now. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. So we're gonna go take a look see over at this guy's house and see what's going on with his shutter. I mean, I know what's going on with it. It's hanging off. It's got them stupid little plastic push button things that hold it into the wall. For anybody that has ever had to deal with a problematic shutter, whether it keeps falling off the house, you're paying people to come out and put it back up, and it keeps falling back out, whatever. Listen to me. Listen very, very carefully. When I put a shutter on a house, that thing ain't coming off unless you want it to come off. I've been doing this now for almost 10 years, and I finally cracked the code and figured out the best way to secure a shutter to a house. Now, it's not rocket science, but I will share my secret with you. It's called a screw and a washer. You need a fender washer and a screw. Now, the only the only thing with that is you do need a little bit of paint to go with it to make it blend into the shutter. Um, but really, at the end of the day, I would highly prefer the fact that you're never going to have to worry about it coming off again versus the extra 10 seconds it's going to take to paint a couple screws. I mean, I seriously think that's a very fair trade off. Um, so, and if I'm able to do this today, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to, I'm going to take you guys with me up on the ladder and show you how to do this. It is not that hard to do, but I'll tell you, being here, I'm in eastern Pennsylvania, so I get phone calls for like this all the time to fix people's shutters. They fall off the house, the wind gets behind them, birds and bees build nests behind them, so it pulls them away from the wall. I don't understand why people don't just use screws in the first place. Like, there are some manufacturers out there that are supplying physical color match screws to go with these shutters. And I gotta tell you, maybe you've fallen victim to this. Maybe you have shutters on your house and you can't ever get them to stay on. It's a very common problem. I don't know why. I don't understand it. I have guys that put shutters on every day, and they insist on using them stupid. It's got these little tiny ferrules on the whole length of the shaft, and it's supposed. Look, I understand the idea and concept. It's supposed to go into the hole and grab so that when it goes in, it doesn't pull back out. Guess what? It don't work because they get cold and they shrink up and poop right back out of the hole. And yes, I know that sounded like an innuendo, wasn't meant to, but it is a reality. So, with all that being said, I have the solution, I have the fix. Now, and this fix will work for any type of siding material. It'll work for stucco, it'll work for wood, brick, veneer, like literally anything. You just gotta have the patience to do it. Now, sometimes in like stucco and brick and stuff like that, it's a little harder to do. But even then, it's still not that bad. Like, you got to take a little piece of wood, and when I say a little piece of wood, I mean you could take a shim out of a shim bag. It doesn't even have to be a shim. It could be a splinter off of a 2x4. It doesn't matter. Just take a small piece of wood, take a knife, and kind of stick the piece of wood in the hole. Get it kind of where you want it to be. Cut it flush, and make sure it's tight in there. Hey, good morning. Make sure that you get it in there pretty tight. Cut it flush, and that gives your screw something to attach to. So once it goes in the hole, it's not just free spinning, because I've seen that happen where, shit, it's happened to me. I've put, I thought I had enough packing in the hole there for it to grab onto, and it just wasn't enough. So just double check that, make sure that you got enough support behind it. But I'm telling you, take my word for it. If you do that right, you will never have a shutter come off your house again. It's an insider tip. Hopefully that helps. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And again, maybe you don't have shutters on your house, so you don't have to worry about it. Great, even better. I'll tell you what, there are some houses that just don't look good with them, and then there's other houses that don't look good without them. So I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag. Especially if, let's say, you're not replacing your siding and all that, and you just don't like the way that the shutters look on the house anymore. So you take them off. Well, now you're left with holes. So depending on what kind of siding you have, like if it's stucco, you could patch that pretty easily. It's not that big of a deal. Like, you'll know it was there, but nobody else. Vinyl siding, it's a little more difficult, because then you got to pull the piece of siding out, backfill it, put a new one in. That's kind of a nightmare. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If you don't like the way they look, they could be taken off. You just got to fill the holes in. Very, very important that you do that, because the smallest little holes, cracks, and crevices create entryways for water and air. And let me tell you something. Little known fact. Water is more destructive than fire. Did you know that? If you didn't, you do now. And I'll tell you why that is. Water damage affects more homes and buildings and cars and everything than any fire ever could. And the reason being is actually very simple. So water creates a perpetual moisture and humidity and a mold concern. Fire, there's no secret with fire, if that makes sense. Like, if you're following what I'm saying here. So with a fire, your house catches on fire, right? Just as an example. God forbid, I hope it doesn't. But your house goes up in flames and it's burnt to the ground, and, well, man, this is awful. What a terrible thing to have happen. Okay, let's rebuild it. Okay, you know exactly what you're up against. There's no secrets. There's no surprises there. Water damage. Oh, there's secrets. There's problems. There's all kinds of shit that could go wrong here. Say your basement floods out. So that's actually a pretty common thing to have happen. If you don't have a sump pump or whatever in your house, because your basement doesn't leak, whatever, congratulations, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you don't have water issues. But for a majority of people out there, they do. So what happens is your basement floods out, and let's say you have a nice finished basement. You have, whether it's carpet or like a vinyl type of floating floor, something like that downstairs. And then, of course, you have drywall and your insulation and all that fun shit. Well, here's the problem. Your contractor is going to come in and, well, better yet, your water, or your remediation company, they're going to come in and they're going to see the water line on the drywall, and they're going to cut about to that line. So if you have, say, 3 inches of water in your basement, standing water, and they see the water line on there, they might go up, we'll call it 16 inches. So, okay, great. So they went up 16 inches. They pulled that out. They pulled all the insulation out from that 16-inch bay. The problem is, insulation acts like a sponge when it gets wet. So it's going to actually draw the moisture all the way up the bat. Now, depending on how long you leave it alone, it's going to pull all that moisture out of the basement up into the insulation like a damn sponge, and it's going to rot out the drywall from behind. The other problem is if you don't pull all that insulation and drywall out of there, you have mold spores on the backside of the drywall. So like you cut it open, you've just exposed that area to air, whereas it didn't have it before. So now you're introducing another element into it. So there's a lot that goes into this, and it happens all the time where people are calling, hey, I had a leak in my basement, and we had the remediation company come out and they cut up some drywall and blah blah blah. Almost every single time I go out and look at it, I'm finding mold behind the wall. And the common response is, well, how did they not catch this? They do this every day for a living. Well, that's true, but they also know that you're going to hire somebody to come out and fix it all. So they're assuming that I'm going to catch it and I'm going to tell you, hey, sorry, by the way, we got to tear down all this drywall, all this insulation, and basically rebuild it from ground up. Now, sometimes you get lucky, like you have wood framing downstairs. Sometimes you get lucky and it can be dried out. Under the sill plate, you're always going to have some moisture. That's just a reality. You shouldn't have any, but you more than likely do. And it sucks, but it is, again, a reality, especially on a concrete poured floor. I'll tell you a funny story. I had a customer one time that had a very, very small copper line that was run under the concrete. Like, I'm talking a quarter, maybe at best, a half an inch under the concrete slab. And it was run outside for I think it was for the hose bin, if memory serves me correct. So they had this thing, and it was just barely under the surface. Like, you know how small this is? It's very, very small. So I was putting base plates in the basement, and of course, you're using a powder gun to get the nails into the base plates. So I'm just moving right along. Everything's fine. I put a nail into the one base plate in a corner on the side of a bathroom. Now, mind you, it's a finished basement and it's been finished forever. They have an upflush toilet, so I had absolutely no reason whatsoever to believe that there was anything buried underneath of that concrete. Well, lo and behold, there was a water line buried under there, and I fucking found it. I found it. Oh, dude, I was freaking out. Oh, man, it was not a good day. I ran upstairs. I'm like, yo, you gotta shut the water off. There's something going on. I don't know what happened. I put a nail in the concrete, and boom! All of a sudden, we got a fucking geyser on our hands, folks. This is no good. Situation not normal. So, of course, she was not happy at all, which I completely understand. She came downstairs. She's like, "Oh my God, we just got rid of all this water in here." Blah 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 blah. And, it was no good in that department. So, and I understand that. But really, at the end of the day, it was something that I would have never known as the guy that was putting this stuff in. I would have never known that. She had no idea. And even the people that initially did the French drain in her basement, they weren't even aware of it. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to get mad over something that so few people even knew existed. Anyway, so that was that. That was a funny, not so funny story. Oh God. All right, let's see where this shutter is. It is. It's not quite second story, but it's close enough. And then where is this other guy's house? Let's see here. 14. Sorry, I'm looking for an address right now. There's a shutter on someone else's house that has fallen off or something. But I admit I don't see a shutter that's missing there. I don't know where the hell it would be. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I see his shutter. I do not see his. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. So let me jump for right now. I got to call him and figure out what he wants to do here. And I will talk to you guys in a little bit.